Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new Five Heart Podcast live on Coronation's YouTube, Facebook, and X. And yes, the team is a little incomplete, but let's go around and introduce who we are, just in case you don't recognize the faces, the voices. I'm Greg Mahochko, and that is Fred Sacco. And as soon as she no longer has computer issues, Minnie Hunt will be joining us here in just a few moments. Fred, how are you, sir? How's your week been?
Doing well. Busy week, moving fast. Got one of the big church festivals this weekend, the St. Peter Paul. Says it's the home of the most different kinds of food. Like for one festival ever, there's Mexican food, there's crab rangoon, there's gyros, there's pretty much brats, gyros,
Okay.
gyros.
Gyro. There we go. Gyros.
Croatian walking tacos.
What in the wide world of sports is a Croatian walking taco, Fred?
It's essentially little cubes of lamb. It's basically just almost like a gyro, but it's just cubes of lamb in a pita with tzatziki sauce and onions and
Will you do little reviews of all the food that you eat?
Definitely.
Can we put them in a compilation and put them up on the YouTube channel?
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah.
Sweet.
That's where I told you they play your No Beer in Heaven song.
In heaven, there is no beer, Fred.
Whatever.
Yeah. I know. Tomato, potato, potato.
Let's call the whole thing off.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's the plan for the weekend, and then just chilling. How about you?
I've got the boys this weekend, and it's a lot of working weekend. So also we will also be down at a church, and we'll be down there a lot. So but it's also, and this is good for you, Fred. This is good for any of our more nerd-minded fans. It is free graphic novel day this Saturday. So find your local comic book store. I'm going to take the boys to mine. And one of the twins, Robert, is signed up to play soccer with his kindergarten class. So we're going to go get some soccer equipment, cleats and shin guards and all that fun stuff on Saturday as well. So it's going to be a good day. I don't know if there's going to be time for Home Depot, but we'll see. We'll see what it all.
You beat me to it. I was going to say, if you're going to look at some tile, Home Depot, who knows? Make a whole day out of it.
That's right. We'll see what we can do. But it has been a surprisingly busy last week of July for college football, for the Big Ten. Of course, Big Ten Media Days is going on currently, as our friend Double O Dana said, Media Days. Roger Moore was here earlier and may still be. High Mountain Guy is here. Who's going with you to the party this weekend, Fred?
Just Maureen.
All right.
Yeah. And maybe the dogs. I don't know if they behave.
That'd be fun for Tater and Willie.
Yes. Look at that. Using the old thinking meat. This guy's going places.
That's right. Michigander says, how are you fine fellas doing? I think we answered that question. Minnie's not doing her hair. And let's go, Fred.
It's my friend Ords from React Attack. Actually, that's his channel. He does reactions to independent music and stuff. So
you don't have to identify him as your friend. Not to say but it'd be more meaningful if it was just random YouTuber who really likes Fred.
No, he's cool. We used to play Mario Kart during the pandemic, and sometimes I get drunk and bet on the races. It was fun.
Wait a minute. Wait, the races that you have an actual active participation in? What is this, the WNBA?
Perhaps. Sometimes I'd race, sometimes I just watch, but I'd throw super chats saying so-and-so is going to win, and yeah, it was fun. 2020 was a crazy time.
It was a crazy time. Do you know, I mean, I know, look, we don't talk about the WNBA because nobody talks about the WNBA, right? But did you see the videos from the their All-Star weekend where it was Angel Reese and Paige Buckner who were betting on the outcome of the game, and somehow like that's okay. Like,
Oh, I didn't know that. I just
they
saw
put
Angel.
videos up there. They put videos on social media of like $400, like holding cash in hand, and it's like, oh, Pete Rose is rolling over in his grave.
That's I didn't know that. I just saw the what they call the Angel Reese me bounds because she misses the shot and then she gets her own rebound like 7 times in a row, and that's why she leads the league in rebounds.
Yeah, and like no, not the league has set a record, I think, for career rebounds or something like that. She's like over 1,100 rebounds, whatever, in her career, and this is only her third damn year. High Mountain Guy says, "Let's go. Best graphic novel. All answers not Watchmen are wrong, but let's go." Fred, do you want to wait? We can't have this conversation when Minnie's here.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've bought random ones when the Barnes and Noble shut down, or no, Borders, when Borders shut down. I bought a bunch, and honestly, I haven't even read them. I just have them on a shelf still. So, yeah, I mean, if you're just talking straight up old timey comic books, I was a big Green Lantern, Batman, and Spider-Man were my 3.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I forgot. Greg's a guardian of Oa.
That's right. Thank you.
And John is Eben Sir.
Jonathan, sorry. I think one of my favorite all-time graphic novels is Kingdom Come. Alex Ross art. It's a phenomenal story. Watchmen is good too, but Kingdom Come, yeah, I mean, there's a lot. Dark Knight Returns is of course.
There's one I want to read, and you probably have it. It's a compilation of the Green Arrow and Green Lantern when they went across the country, and it was in the 70s.
Yeah, I don't have it, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's supposed to be super cool. I want to read that.
There's a line in there. Thank you, React Attack. There's a line in the good. You got to remember 70s. It's post. I can't think of the word now.
Vietnam.
Post Vietnam, but also post civic. I can't. The movement. Martin Luther King. Civil rights. Thank you, Lord Almighty. But it was that, and I remember there's one famous page in there where random, U.S. citizen says, "Man, you can go all over space and help the purple guys and the green guys, but what about the black guys here in our area?" So that that was a very famous frame. Yeah, we can't have these conversations when Minnie's here because they'll.
Yeah, Minnie just be like, "What? Are we ever going to talk football?" And then she'd make fun of you for some reason and interrupt me, and yeah, it'd be a whole thing.
It's fine. Are we going to talk about football?
We will.
I know there's some topics that we want to save for when she is here specifically. It is Big Ten Media Days, and we can get this one out of the way. It was announced this week that 3 more Big Ten teams have uniform patch deals. Of course, the one we heard about first was Wisconsin, and that was Culver's. So in their field of red, they're going to have the blue and white Culver's logo above the Big Ten patch.
Shit, that just looks terrible. Yeah.
It's about to get worse, right? So there's Wisconsin, Michigan State, and this might be tough to read, but it's MSU, FCU, and I believe that is Michigan State University Financial Credit Union.
Oh, yep, or Federal Credit Union.
Federal Credit Union. Thank you, Federal Credit Union. So there's Michigan State. It was announced this week that Illinois, they're also adding a financial institution. It's a very sizable chain of banks, and it's Busey Bank that they are adding to their patch. And the most recent addition, I think it was just announced on yesterday, I believe, is Ohio State is getting the Chase Bank patch on their right shoulder. And the reason we have this image and not one of those like we have for the others, is because they didn't have this deal done until after everything was already in place for Big Ten Media Days. So, so 4 out of 18 teams so far. And Fred, the obvious one is going to be who would. I was thinking this, and you brought a lot of insight. I was like, people are saying Runza, right? Roger Moore says we need a Runza patch. James Boardman says since Nebraska's a flyover state, the sponsor should be Delta. Double O'Dana says Dorothy Lynch. But we're seeing that a lot of so SoFi just partnered with Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be one. So it seems like it's a lot of financial institutions. We know that it's not going to be Berkshire Hathaway, right? Like there's just not the interest from upper leadership at that corporation to invest in Nebraska football. Like they haven't. They certainly could if they wanted to, and they haven't. So I said, I don't know if there's a bank that could do it or an organization, because believe it or not, the Illinois deal was for $30 million, which is more than Chase at Ohio State. Think about that. Wow. I found that out.
I figured Chase would pay more. That's interesting. Huh.
Yeah. So 5-year, $30 million jersey patch deal with Busey Bank. That's according to Illinois Athletic Director Josh Whitman. It is among one of the most significant in the country. So, but I got to thinking, I said, who in the world could step up and do this for Nebraska? We see Nicholas saying FNBO. Nicholas and Vince Watson both say Mutual of Omaha. Fred, in our 5-heart chat, you had a really good idea that I want you to share as we welcome in the third member of the terrific trio. Minnie Hunt is finally got everything all working properly. So
hey, it's Minnie. Look at that.
Sorry,
next week, Greg
I'm late.
Can be late. We've all been late now. Be late next week, Greg.
All right, it's my turn.
Do I get to tell my excuse?
You said that you had computer problems.
I had computer problems, but here's the reason why. I unplugged my charger, the power outlet thingy, and I forgot to plug it back in.
You're gonna have to dumb it down for us, Minnie. I didn't understand that.
So I forgot to plug it back in, and then when I got it going, it had all these weird pop-up thingies everywhere.
You had ad pop-ups?
No, like
Bluetooth pop-ups.
I know I need to do my software update, like things like that. Long check outline for clearance line. No Roger Moore. That wasn't it.
Well, we're glad you made it.
Yes.
We have kept some of the more important topics. We pushed them back. We didn't jump into some of the bigger ones. We just started talking about, well, first of all, we should ask you what your favorite graphic novel is, because we need you to weigh in on that.
I just muted you by accident. What?
No, it's too late. I'm not repeating it.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about it. That's all right.
And then we got talking about some of the patches on the uniforms, and Fred was just about to tell us, share with the class his idea of who he thought might be willing to, fork out the dough for a Nebraska patch should Nebraska go that route.
Yeah, a few people have said it in the chat. We'd mentioned in our side chat that possibly Kiewit, because that's a big, construction firm, beyond construction, architecture. HDR is a big one. First National Bank, that's owned by the Lauritsen family. That's like an institution here in town. Kiewit, yeah, like Roger says. And then that Peed family that owns like a bunch of things. They have Sandhills Global, the energy company. I think that's the one we talked about. and they have a few other businesses. It could be any one of those or Mutual of Omaha. I mean, the Runza thing, everybody says it, but that's not even an option. They have 90 locations, period, whereas at least Culver's is well over 1,000. So, I mean, so people were making that comparison. It wouldn't be Runza. I wouldn't want it to be Runza. I don't want it to be anybody. But
Right.
honestly, that the decision's been made, right? Like Ohio State came out with their announcement, and then it was an hour later, I think Notre Dame made their announcement. It wasn't like Notre Dame called up SoFi and said, "Oh shit, we got to get something." It was already done, and I'm sure the decision's been made down in Lincoln. It's just a matter of when, and it's
So I actually think that. Go ahead, Minnie.
I was going to say that was interesting timing on Notre Dame's part to kind of one up Ohio State because I think their deal was 10 million and Notre Dame's was 17 or 18 million. They kind of waited. I like that.
Well, as I was telling Fred and everybody else, Illinois and their sponsor $30 million over 5 years. So, but
no, that's
I believe that, so Nebraska is not going to be adding any corporate sponsorship patches for this season, and will hold off until at least 2027. So, which I do remember reading earlier in this week, and I just verified. So,
well, Matt Rule did mention it today in his little side conference at Big Ten Media Days. He mentioned, that this is the way things are going. So I'm sure that there's already talks about it, like you said, and it would be interesting if they just kind of come out. I mean, Nebraska really can't. We're just so traditional in everything that we think, especially about our uniforms. So I don't see it going over very well. But then again, unless there's going to be like a huge fundraising event that fans run to do an anti-patch maybe fund. I don't see it. I think we're getting a patch for sure.
Yeah, they don't care.
Like Roger Moore said a couple moments ago, let's have the fans pitch in for a patch, or like Minnie suggested, pitch in to avoid the patch. And yes, the winning tradition patch will be back this year. Like we're running out of places to put patches, and I certainly don't want Nebraska's uniform or any uniform to end up looking like a NASCAR car with all the various decals and sponsorships on there. I don't even want it to look like a soccer jersey or Premier League football, that just has sponsors all over the place. It's
gaudy. I don't like it. It and it's just takes dominoes to fall. We've seen a few announcements this week with people with their patches. Next year, if somebody adds a second patch, then 5 other teams will add. It's a domino effect. And like you say, the Euro soccer thing. You know what? It takes me out of the game. Just think about it. Calandria scrambles for a crucial 4th down conversion late in the game against Ohio State, and he doesn't, slide 2 yards short, and he pops up, and the crowd roars, and then you see Mutual of Omaha on his jersey. Like that takes me out of the game. I've worked in corporate America or around it for like half my life, and God, thinking about that's just fucking sad. But if they look like Euro soccer, I don't want to watch fucking Euro soccer. I want to watch college football. I don't want Nebraska sponsored by Mutual versus Notre Dame sponsored by SoFi.
Right.
It's tacky.
David Matney, the official realtor of the 5 Heart Podcast, he could be the patch sponsor too. Says actually, what would look sharp is a cobby corn / coronation patch. That would be cool. Husker Chuck says, how about a Hawkeye patch on the back of the pants right in the middle? I tend to go back to 1948 because everybody knows I'm old. The movie is The Treasure of the Sierra Madre, where we first heard the line, patches? We don't need no stinking patches. So
there you go.
Never heard of it. Never heard of it.
You've heard of the line, though.
Or is it badges?
It's Patches.
I don't know.
I don't even know if I've heard the line.
badges because it's more fun.
Maybe it is bad. I don't know.
Either way, it's okay.
Regardless.
We get it, Greg.
Badges. Fine. I'm wrong again.
Tell us about when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor, Greg.
Germans? Oh, there you go.
I'm trying, Ords. I'm trying. I've been working out.
He's rolling. Name that movie, Fred.
What's that? Oh, yeah.
Name that movie.
Animal House.
Thank you.
All right. So what's up next?
What is up next, boss?
I don't know. You seem to be taking off with movies.
No, we're that conversation is over.
Okay.
We always take off with movies.
Do we have
True.
any updates from Big Ten Media Days outside of Matt Rule talking that patches are probably a thing down the road?
Yes. One of the biggest things I think that he said, he took the podium, gave a very short, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Gave a very short, speech right at the top, and he asked for questions after. There were only 2 questions. So either he did a really good job or nobody's really interested in what Nebraska's doing. I kind of think it could be both.
It's both.
But he did say in his speech that he didn't come to Nebraska to go 7-6. What do you think about that?
Very inspiring.
If he didn't come to Nebraska to go 7-6, then what the hell have we done the last 2 years going 7-6?
But bump.
Okay. Well, I get what you're saying, but it appears that he has all the right parts and all the right pieces in place. And even you, Greg, dug up information about our defense that looks pretty positive, where everybody was kind of, wondering if that is going to be a question mark. There's a really good argument that it's going to be a really good defense this year.
Yes. Yeah. Rob Aurich. I don't know. Hey, I watched John's video this morning, and I heard him call our offensive coordinator Geep Wade. I'm pretty sure it's Jeep. So we need simpler names. At least John Butler had a name you knew how to pronounce.
It's like yogging, Greg. You just go out there and run. I think it's a soft J.
No, okay. It happened. I watched his video on the treadmill at the gym. So, no, the 4-2-5, and I didn't pay a whole lot of attention because I'm one of those. I want to see it on the field. I want to understand, the 3-3-5 that we were running was not working, right? You can't run a 3 down lineman front in the Big Ten and expect to stop the run. So the 4-2-5 with 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers, kind of that nickel rover hybrid, and then you still have 4 defensive backs. I think that is at least it certainly is a better answer schematically for success in the Big Ten. I like the personnel that we brought in. Some of it, yes, untested. Some of it, following the defensive coordinator first from Idaho to what was it, San Diego State, right? The Aztecs, and then San Diego State to us. So, you know what? There's trust built in there. I think it is going to be in everybody's best interest for Matt Rule to take a step back and not micromanage, trust the people that you've hired to do the job.
I think he'd be well served to do that. And with Aurich, he's improved everywhere he's been from one year to the next. Like, I think it was at Idaho, they doubled the turnovers they got from one season to the next and the sacks and things like that. And again, he's bringing Chambliss, the linebacker, and McDougal, the defensive back, so they can kind of be a coach on the field. They can talk, they can get guys lined up. They can help with the terminology. That'll make a smoother transition. At the very least, I hate saying this. At least they won't be lining up wrong at week 11 like we were doing last year, which is just inexplicable. He's a college defensive coordinator, so it's not going to be the NFL stuff trying to. And like Rostovsky said a bunch of times, it felt like Butler was trying to protect the pass defense rating versus playing a holistic defense. So
right.
I feel good. Like you said, it's like a nickel. So that gives us flexibility against the pass and the run, more alignment on the field. I wish we hadn't missed on a couple of the D tackles, because I think there was a guy that went to Oregon that was like 330 or something that was pretty big. And another dude, we got the Whitshear or Whittingham or something from Pitt. He's small, but he's disruptive for a D tackle. I think he's 270. I think it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot better. It'll have to be a lot better. Got 4 guys that can be in there, maybe stop the run for God's sakes. Then everything else just flows.
Yeah.
And Roy Manning's DNs had more sacks than our whole team last year. Not that that's a great feat, but
can I just say, not that Matt Rule's up, he doesn't make excuses. He really doesn't. But he did say today that one of the reasons that our defense wasn't as good as it had been 2 years ago is because of the recruiting that took place. They didn't recruit for the 3-3-5 scheme.
It's because nobody runs a 3-3-5.
And it's harder in college to do it. I mean, NFL teams do it and they struggle. And that's the NFL, where you get the pick of the litter of giant 300-pound dudes to cover the grenade. To do it in college, it's limited. And I think Bama did it in their heyday, but also they were getting guys like that giant Bear Cody and people like that in there that were just massive. You can't do it it's just a harder body style to get to make it work in a conference like ours,
Yeah, we definitely had it going on when we had Ty Robinson and Hutmacher.
How
They were
quickly we
perfect.
forget.
Mm-hmm.
I did not forget. I didn't.
The polar bear. Just remember that. It's easier.
Yes.
John used to call him Nut Masher, so we call him that too.
But those body types were perfect for a 3-3-5. And yeah, we didn't replace that when they
They
left.
were naturally just big guys. I know over the years we've taken guys that were D tackles. It might have been 270 back when our strength and conditioning was elite, and we'd build them up to 300 pounds. But they weren't like a true just big fat fuck that just gets in there and clogs up space, and tears through. So just to get some more big-bodied guys, but I feel more confident now. And I thought Butler's defense would have been fine. I thought he was the heir apparent anyway, and then it was just completely disappointing the way it turned out. That was brutal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Matt E points out that we had a 3-man front inside the red zone. And Matt Rule brought that up as well. Like, that's just not going to work. So he even said, we were like at 76% that teams would score on us in the red zone, and we're like one of the worst. And he goes, that's totally unacceptable. So, I mean, there was some talk about the things that we did wrong last year, but one of the big highlights is how excited he is about our offensive line.
Yes. I mean, that'll be the most improved part of the team. It has to be.
Mm-hmm.
Jenkins at center, and then we got some guys that were proven production at other places.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we could just give them a little bit of depth, the biggest thing, and I swear to God, I hope it just feels like who's our backup center? Because that's like, to me, that's the linchpin of the operation. I feel like so many times the center gets hurt. We got some other jabroni in there. God love him. He's trying, but he, isn't at the same caliber. And then it just fucks us up. It's happened so many years in the past, but I like, they got Trey Babalade and the kid from Iowa State at guard, and the other, and we got the Fast and Furious, our other tackle that came on there at the end of the season, kid from Bama. So and then do we get it? Oh, we got the South Carolina. That's the Babalata. Yeah. So it's like we got some pretty impressive people, and Jeep really seems to know how to coach. He was a Moore Award finalist, I think, 1 year at G Tech. So, or their line was. So
last season.
Huge upgrade from what we had. I think they said he's coached 25 years.
Yeah. I think John pointed that out in his video today, that he has like 23 years of coaching experience, which is proven. And he brings all of that with him to Nebraska, as well as he's a great recruiter.
Yeah,
as you just pointed out.
We got 3 kids out of Georgia, recruiting wise. They weren't linemen, but 3 different players are coming, high school kids coming here. So that has to be some,
Minnie, to your point, I don't know if we get the Trey or the kid from Iowa State if it's not Jeep Wade at the helm of that position group. We got some talent from the portal, and we got some commits, coming out of high school who I think want to be associated. They want to be coached by Jeep Wade. I don't, whatever offense intended or whatever, I don't think anybody wanted to play for Donovan Raiola. There was no pedigree there. It was his first position coaching job. He had been an associate offensive line coach for the Chicago Bears. He, swimming out of his depth. I don't want to necessarily relitigate that mess, but now we have a proven successful coach at that coaching position, and we have a lot of depth. I was just looking at the roster. We question is who's going to be the backup center, in a God forbid situation.
Well, here's the thing.
Yep.
We have somebody with tons of coaching experience who went and got guys out of the portal in places that we needed it. I actually trust that he has this already figured out. Maybe it's Preston Talmua. I don't even know. In the past, I feel like it was Sam Sledge who played center when we needed him.
I would have gone with Sledge.
I think so. Evans. I think that sounds right. I mean, never really saw him because Jenkins was a rock, so it's like you don't ever find out until somebody really gets out. We didn't have a lot of games that were out of hand, after our first 3 layups. So yeah, it's much better. Donovan was an assistant to an assistant. Yeah.
No, he was the associate to the offensive line coach. It was Chicago, David. Lots of depth at the offensive line position, interior at the guard, tackle, center. I think probably, as far as depth at the center position, probably my biggest question mark. But how can we not look at this year's offensive line squad and just deem it, left to right as an upgrade across the board? Obviously, with Justin Evans, there's the added year of leadership of experience. But I think he's probably going to be the only starter from last year that's going to be starting this year. So,
well, him and
Pritchett.
Pritchett.
Pritchett. There you go. And and that's but also I just feel better about it because going in last year, if we were talking about it, I believe early on they were talking Prohaska might be starting again, and this guy, and so many of those guys were already oft injured so many times. And we were to the point that we were so threadbare that a guy that had like 3 knee surgeries is the best option. And that's not down in him. He, you got to be a warrior to play that level. But it was painful to watch him because it just looked like it was pain. He was in pain just doing the job. So now we have people that are fresh. And then, if we had actual depth back then, we could add Prohaska would be the backup to somebody else. Put him in for half a game, something. But every down, every game, and you're going on bad knees, that's not great. So I think we've shored up the tackle spots, and hopefully we can just stay healthy, and it'll be a strength that the team has to be. We need it. We can't fuck around with this anymore. The line's been shit for years. We need this to work now.
Imagine this, okay? What if our offensive line is great? Like Anthony Calandra could be like one of the best quarterbacks. He really could be, because he's developed every year. He's gotten better every single year. I gotta go get my dog. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. We'll be here.
I'll be back.
Thanks for the warning.
Yeah, I mean, she posed an interesting question. What could happen if our offensive line is? I'd be happy with them being serviceable. I'd be happy with them. John talked about it in his video this morning, and I think his next video is going to be dedicated to offensive line. But yeah, like, just what happens if it, overcoming the little things, no holding, no false starts, but actually just like being road movers, and just knocking guys off the ball. Just, what we're supposed to be talking about the defense. Maybe we're done talking about the defense already.
I got my bullet points out of the way. Yeah, I was good with that. So yeah,
okay.
If you had anything else, but yeah.
But what if this offensive line is, what do we think? Top half in the conference?
Oh, it's tough, because top half, Indiana's going to have a good O-line, Michigan, Ohio State, Oregon, Iowa, always, hell, even I hate Minnesota, because they're just they're Iowa light, but you know what? Their offensive line works as a unit and it does its job. So maybe we could still be in the top half if you're talking, and we've got to be better than the bottom feeders, of course, the Marylands, the Rutgers, Northwesterns, people like that, obviously.
Oh, don't worry. We're going to talk about Rutgers again here later on. So
yeah, so we might be in the middle, or a little bit above the middle
third,
depending. I mean, I just would assume that those other teams, Ohio State's always got a great O-line, Michigan usually does too. Indiana so far has done it. Iowa always. I mean, we could be in the mix. I guess Wisconsin's trash right now, so we should be better than them, better than Michigan State. Yeah, maybe upper half. Maybe,
Ooh, this is
quarter.
Optimism I hear.
I
like
drinking
it.
the Kool-Aid. Well,
Yum.
a couple people said the Mountain West is not the Big Ten, and I get that, but you know what? Where did Signetti coach? Where was he at? James Madison?
Yes.
No, he brought fucking 15 of his guys with that were James Madison players, and they were impact players for Indiana, so I'm just saying, I'm not full on drinking the Kool-Aid, and believe me, if we fuck up after week 4 or 5, we have our usual collapse, I'll be right there with Minnie and the pitchforks, but it looks better than it has in the last year or two for the O-line, definitely.
Wait a minute now. You can't go making statements like Signetti brought 15 people over from James Madison and succeeded in the Big Ten, because we're having a lot. I don't know if you guys are watching the comments, but a lot of people are saying the Mountain West isn't the Big Ten, and whatever is left of the.
I was saying that's why, it's not the Big Ten, but we could bring a few of their guys over and we should just do all right,
That's exactly. I mean, Indiana's done that the last 2 years. He's taken from Cal. And he took from, where's Hoover from? I forget where Josh Hoover's from. TCU. Yeah. So he's been able to, and then before that, who was the quarterback? I forget.
Gosh.
What, for Indiana?
Mendoza?
Yeah. Mendoza, but then who was before him? Because they had a really good quarterback then, too. He's evaluating talent.
The one who was it Michael Penix Jr., who ended up at Washington?
Yes, that's exactly who it was.
That predates the Signetti era.
That was before Signetti, though.
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever.
So, my point being
Rourke.
that he's bringing.
Yeah, the other guy was Rourke.
Yes,
was the one that beat us. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So he keeps getting these transfers who are playing for, lesser conferences, and he's making them shine. So why can't our players? Why can't we be? Maybe we're evaluating talent better. I think Anthony Calandria, like I said, he's improved every single year. And I know somebody said, his turnovers were kind of a big deal. But
You
then
cut him
again,
in
you
half
don't,
from one year to
you
the
don't,
next. So,
yes.
Looking good.
Well, a lot of this goes back to Minnie. You were, I don't know if you were alluding to it, but David Matney asked a little bit ago, why is it taking 3 years to figure out the right staff? Why not hire the right coaches right from the start? I mean, part of that's going to be based on availability, opportunity. You got to believe that Matt Rule, when he came to Nebraska and when he put his staff together, that he thought that it was going to be the right combination. Maybe not Donovan Raiola. That was the price you have to pay to get Dylan Raiola, who was a 5-star recruit and legacy player. And I agree with John in his video this morning. He says if he didn't come here, then Nebraska would have, fans would have rioted in the streets, right? And he got here, and then we couldn't wait to get rid of him, it seemed. But it's about a lot of it's about timing, I really think, and that you have to find out what doesn't work to be able to put together what will work.
So it's interesting that you use the word timing, Greg.
Ooh.
Because that's what I wrote on my notes right here. Timing as the answer. You got it right. Point for
I didn't
you.
even know it was a quiz, but yippee.
But Matt Rule did talk about that again today. He said that, these days when you're looking at hiring a coach, you're looking at who's on their roster because you can take the whole roster with you. Having good players come to your school is more important than the coaches at this point. And Matt Rule came when he came from the NFL. And so he didn't have a bunch of coaches with him that had college experience, which brings me to another topic that was in the news this week about Bill Belichick. He went like 4-9, I think, last season.
Rough year.
Which was really awful. And they just let go his GM. Well, they didn't let him go exactly. They had him, he has leave with pay because they're investigating some HR complaints. Not that anyone suspects him of being like a pervert. They just, everybody has said in the NFL, he was just an asshole.
Yeah. He's an asshole, and allegedly he might have fired a staffer that had been a longtime staffer that was beloved, and that just didn't go over well, and then just rubbing people the wrong way. And then if you're losing games, and then also I heard now that they are under investigation by that CCS clearinghouse or whatever, the clearinghouse that investigates or watches the nil or does whatever they do, right? That's like the IRS for nil, I think. And they're under investigation for that. So maybe he was doing some shady stuff there too. I mean, if they're looking at that, it's got to be a money thing.
Everywhere Bill Belichick goes, scandal follows.
It's true. Yeah.
New England should vacate all of their Super Bowls.
Wouldn't hurt my feelings. Gosh. I don't watch the NFL anymore, but yeah, they got away with a lot of shit. And then they got some pissant makeup calls thrown at them to slightly, punish them, so to speak. But it was very, very weak. Yeah, it's one of the reasons I quit watching it. I just couldn't take it. They let them get away with it to protect the shield, Yep.
Well, and the point being, just because you're a good coach in the NFL, just because You have, assistant coaches from the NFL. That doesn't necessarily correlate to college football.
True.
No, well, and that Lombardi guy, what did he say? He said that North Carolina was going to be the 33rd NFL team.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
mean, that's Scott Frost level. Well, they're going to
I
have to
know.
adjust their system to us. That's just some real,
World-class
hubris.
yeah, sheer fucking hubris. But yeah, it's yeah, you know what? But also by the flip side, I've watched some things and people think, I know some friends think that Belichick will be done this year. And we don't need to talk about North Carolina much more, but they're thinking he'll get fired this year if they do poorly again. But he said he wants to try and build the team through recruiting. I don't think they're doing a ton with nil as far as pulling players in that are proven. So like 2027, 2028 are allegedly going to be the years that he's got his kids that he's recruited and built up and kept, that they should allegedly make noise. So he's got at least another year or two, I think, unless he just goes epically just terrible and they win like 1 or 2 games.
I think he's done this time next season. I'm calling it.
Quite possibly.
That's my thought. But anyways, we digressed quite a bit there.
It's all right. Couple minutes. It's a topic worth talking about because that's a big name. It's a big deal. If they still had Mac Brown, we wouldn't be talking about North Carolina right now. Simple as that. We wouldn't talk about him ever. But all the scandal and the excitement that comes with Bill Belichick, who looks like the most boring man in the world, there you go.
There you go.
So Big Ten Media Days going on now. It got brought up briefly, and I know, Minnie, you said you wanted to address it again.
Yes.
But the happy news for Mr. Matney is that House Rules is done.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Nebraska bought Matt Rule's media rights. And yes, it is. They want to control what he does. He may or may not be doing a podcast, but it's interesting because his point was exactly what my point has been about this podcast. He believes that because he did this podcast and because he did the Pat McAfee show, that he was able to get recruits to Nebraska.
But did
it work? As you know, I agree.
Do we have any data that backs that up, though?
Well, he said, obviously, there's no way to really tell, but I know for a fact that there's parents that were watching it and commenting on it. So
that's what you know, or that's what he said?
That's what he said.
Oh, okay.
That's what he said.
I buy the being on the McAfee show. That will get him some good exposure. I mean, randomly, I'd be out at a bar or someplace and I'd see he was on there. I was like, I think it was once a week. So that's good exposure. I could see that paying dividends. How you could track that, I don't know. The podcast, I mean, that's a niche thing. I didn't hear about it until we were talking about it on here. Yeah, it wasn't a thing that I would have found or sought out or even taken the time to watch. But maybe he's in the recruiting game. He's talking to kids like, hey, kids, hey, cool teens, I got a podcast. Check me out on my pod, and he sends them the link and there they go. So that's it. It could have possibly done some good, but it didn't. Yeah, I don't know. Nothing of value was lost if he doesn't do it.
No, I think we'd all be happier, especially David Matney, if the podcast was just gone forever.
The official House Rules hater of Husker Nation.
Oh, he's probably not the only one.
No, I'm sure there's more.
Yeah.
Let's see. We talked about that. So I want to switch gears since we mentioned one team from the South in North Carolina. I think it's appropriate that we mention 2 more schools from the SEC because one of them, it's a tumultuous situation that involves a former Nebraska player. And what is going on is that the University of Mississippi, aka Ole Miss, has filed a breach of contract lawsuit seeking nearly $1 million from former players Devin Harper and Princeville Uman, I don't know idea.
Good enough.
Uman Milan. Yep.
Thank you.
I'm
The
on Milan.
school alleging they violated signed revenue sharing agreements when they transferred to LSU. So there's Princeville. Following Lane Kiffin from Ole Miss to LSU. And this is the new era, right, of college football, where you sign a deal. If you, I don't know, renege on the deal, if you apparently in Ole Miss's, from their standpoint, that these two players are in breach of contract.
They
And
did
now
not fulfill their commitments to
Right.
Ole Miss.
Nope.
In signing these contracts and receiving a revenue share. Their contracts did state if they did not fulfill the terms of their contract that there will be they have to pay money back. And Princeville, who used to be at Nebraska, he is being sued for $550,000. The funny thing is okay, so I was wondering about this because Lane Kiffin left Ole Miss on November 30th.
Yes.
And as we know, the rule goes if your head coach gets another job, you can transfer within 30 days after he leaves. So Princeville signed a contract with LSU on January 3rd.
Ole Miss.
After entering he signed the contract for LSU, transferring to LSU. So then after that, Ole Miss in July contacted him and said, look, you're in breach of contract. We need you to pay this back. And no comment, no comment, no comment.
But I do want to clarify that timeline, Minnie, because Fred was correct. The timeline provided at ESPN says that Princeville signed a revenue sharing agreement to return to Ole Miss on January 3rd, but he entered the transfer portal January 20th and signed with LSU the next day. So
yes.
And the other guy, literally the other guy signed he signed the deal with the Ole Miss, and then 3 days later he entered the portal.
Yes.
It's wild. Yeah, I don't know. I think, but the case could be made too that the school getting them should have to pay it,
Here's where I was going with this.
Oh, yeah.
So, they make this exception. If your head coach leaves, you can leave, right? Within 30 days. Shouldn't there be, obviously this hasn't been thought out. Shouldn't there be some sort of exception rule to revenue sharing?
There should be something in there, and that's kind of the problem with all this stuff with the nil and the revenue sharing is they don't have a lot of guardrails. And I feel like I say guardrails multiple times every week because people can do these things. So Kiffin left in November and they got 30 days. Well, November to December, it's like they were still outside of that window. And then they signed deals with Ole Miss. Then they jumped to the portal and then to LSU. So they should either have to pay or the school should have to pay, then just cover it. I think, like anything else, I think that's real world deals,
It's not much different than a buyout, If LSU wanted the players bad enough, or they wanted to go to LSU bad enough, then make LSU pay fine. They had a 90-day from when they signed their new deals with Ole Miss. They had a 90-day. Let me pull it up again from ESPN. Both players' agreements with the Rebels included penalties for breaking the contract within a 90-day window, and they did them within 2 weeks.
Yeah, one was 3 days and one was 17, week and a half, 2 weeks almost, 2 weeks and a couple days. Golly, you would think, honestly, you would figure these guys would have agents, right? But the agents probably just said, fuck it, just do this and we'll sort it out. It must have been. They had no fear of repercussion.
Right.
They have people that advise them. So it's not like they just made a mistake and fucking forgot. I think they were just told, do what you want to do. We'll handle it. Somebody will handle it. And that's kind of the problem now. It's like everybody does whatever they want.
LSU officials declined to make the payments on the players' behalf on March 18th, stating they, quote, are not party to the contract, end quote. So don't expect LSU to foot the bill for these two guys jumping ship.
What I'm curious about is, when did LSU contact Prince Will?
Probably wasn't even LSU. Well, it was probably Kiffin all along.
Well, yes,
Hey
that's
guys,
who
I'm
I
leaving.
mean.
Yeah, he's like, hey guys,
Well,
I'm
I'm wondering, because
me.
remember, Lane Kiffin was asked to please not talk to the players until after their bowl game. He was asked that directly. So maybe he didn't until after the bowl game, and maybe he contacted Prince Will at that point.
Either way, this will somehow get swept under the rug, or people will just take care of it, and people do what they want to do. It's very frustrating. I don't get it. Yeah.
James Boardman says, don't pay them until they finish the season. People in the real world don't get paid before going to work. I mean, I see that, but at the same time, like guys in the NFL, they get paid on Monday, after the weekend. So that's payday. So do you pay them every Monday, every Sunday, after the game? It's again, as soon as this amount of money got involved, it became a real sticky wicket. So
sticky wicket.
It's what everybody wanted. We wanted nil and want all the fun that goes with it. And
yeah,
now it's it was always NFL development league, but now it's just a larger NFL with more teams and going to be a lot more have-nots than haves. Time it's all said and done. But
what's interesting is this bill in Washington. It hasn't reached the floor yet, and it may not, right? Tony Petitti on Tuesday, when the Big Ten media started, of course, he opens it up.
I don't think you're allowed to say that word on YouTube, Minnie.
What?
Tony what?
Petitti?
Okay. Yeah, I misheard you the first time. I'm sorry.
We know where Greg's mind's at. Gosh, usually I'm the dirty one.
Okay.
Role reversal.
Where was I? Thanks for the interruption.
Opening up Big Ten media days.
Okay.
Tony
and what
Petitti.
were we talking about prior to that? Help me out. Oh, the bill in Congress. He said
Washington.
that specifically he is not interested in signing anything until the wording is exactly right and everything is thought out clearly. Things like this need to be thought out because, as he put it, there's no going back to remake a law the following year. So everything has to be solidified. And, I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, like
right
Ben
now.
said, getting politicians involved will solve everything, and it's to cause no problems ever. Like Ronald Reagan said 40 some odd years ago, the 9 most dangerous words in the English language are "I'm from the government and I'm here to help."
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's not great that they had to get involved. And like I'd said when they first talked about that bill months ago, I think it was just to try and scare people into doing something, and then everybody's just going to continue just to limp along until, I don't know, there's just so much going on. It's just, I don't know, it's a mess, and it's a lot of stuff. Again, more legalities, more, nice.
Of course. And what's funny about this is we're talking about it, and again, when the season starts, we'll forget we ever had this conversation until the off season again.
Well, we'll be talking about some other unintended consequences of the current era and how
I think we'll say that guy's not worth that much. He should forego his paycheck this week.
No, it just doesn't matter anymore. You can screw up on a royal scale, and it's not on our topic list, but you look at the Michigan AD and his, buyout that he gets, and he gets to resign, and he gets $7 million, and tickets to Michigan games and a golf course membership and a bunch of other
Attorneys,
shit.
attorney fees.
Yeah, 82 million in attorney fees or some shit. It's just like, I wish I could fuck up on such a royal scale. And back in the day, they used to call what's happened at Michigan really lack of institutional control. And that was a big deal back in the day. And they would bury a program. They would fuck you up.
Mm-hmm.
Then now it's just like, that's just a Tuesday and the guy gets a buyout and he gets to walk out gracefully and they call it a resignation or whatever. It's horse shit. It's just, yeah, fuck Michigan.
Well, to be fair, he's somewhat beloved by Michigan people because, they believe that he had so much to do with them winning like the national championship a couple of years ago and then doing so
he
well
did,
in
'cause
basketball.
he did because he covered it all up and he hit everything and just like, yeah, he did a
But I don't know
great
if
job.
I think somebody said, and I may be wrong, I haven't looked this up, that Ward Manuel didn't hire Harbaugh. I don't know if that's true or not. But getting credit for that hire is just par for the course, so to speak.
Yeah, whatever. But he had a scandal with the hockey team. He had a scandal with the basketball team. Juwan Howard punched another coach. Harbaugh, the cheating, the Connor Stallions thing, and the way he fired Sharon Moore. He fired him without HR in the office, which is like an breach in protocol. And he also, I think they said that he knew about it, Moore kind of being unhinged with that whole situation and just letting it play out and let that guy run out in the real world with the fucking butter knife. Like, I mean, that's enough. Like that should be grounds for immediate termination, but he must know where the bodies are buried, as they say. So they're just going to let him gracefully waltz off and, pay him to keep his mouth shut. Yes.
Like you said, Fred, it must be nice.
Yeah. We couldn't fuck up at our jobs, Greg, like that and still have them,
What else? I mean, I know there's one other big topic to discuss tonight, but I didn't know if there was anything else that you two had on your. Well, let's just get there.
Yeah.
It was announced this week, yesterday or earlier today, that former Husker, former Green Bay Packer, in fact, the franchise record holder for rushing yards in a career, Amon Green, has early onset Parkinson's, which sucks because he's 49 years old, right?
Yeah.
And gave his life to the game, gave his body to the game, and again had a tremendous career at both the collegiate and NFL levels. Parlayed his. So I didn't realize this, but Amon Green is a huge nerd.
Yeah.
Huge nerd.
He had a Batmobile car, like a newer Camaro or something. He called it the Batmobile, and he was big into all that stuff. Yes.
He was in the Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice movie, but his part got cut. But it's in there. It's on IMDb. But just again, once a Husker. Well, this guy's always a Husker, right? And an Omaha guy.
Central, right down the street. Yep.
Super sad news again because of the diagnosis, because he's not even 50 yet. I mean, just very unfortunate. And I mean, it brought up some dialogue in our pre-production meetings this week. And Minnie, you said something that I want to give you an opportunity to share your thoughts on just how this diagnosis, how long time sports careers and injuries and the sacrifices that these players made. And I don't want to I don't want to say it for you, so I'll let you kind of share your thoughts.
Yeah. Well, since the 90s, thank God, they have improved gear. They have taken tons of safety protocols. They've improved the rules so that we have targeting. Like, for instance, if a guy gets a concussion now, there's a concussion protocol that they have to go through that I don't even think they can play. They can't finish that game, and I don't think they can play the next game until they're cleared medically. Um, they have better helmets. In practice, they're wearing these foam bobbleheads that it looks like, to protect their heads. And that's why there's also the safety protocol for you can't play with pads a certain amount of days. Like you you restrict it that way as well. Which I love all of this to help keep them, safer from injury, long-term injury, because if a kid signs up to play football and they're 17, 18 years old, and then they get something like this, yes, the guardian caps, they get something like this at a young age. To me, it's young because it's younger than me, of 49, a diagnosis of early onset Parkinson's. It's clearly due to injury from the sport that he played. And although I wish that it could have helped him earlier, at least, we're doing things now to improve the probability that that won't happen. And the comment that I said, Greg, is fans are partly to blame for this because we want them tougher and, you know, going balls to the wall as far as in a
Balls.
game. I did say that. And so
Wall.
to me, I feel like we're partly to blame because we, romanticize the game and we treat them like celebrities. It's just a game.
I understand that. And I warned you I'd have a differing opinion.
Yes, you did.
I think that, everybody who, puts on the pad and helmets from a certain, I'd say especially from college on, it's because they want to. And I think they do so with the assumption of the risks. The reason I say college on is there are probably a lot of high school kids who are doing it because maybe coerced, maybe, there's a parent living vicariously through them or something like that. But I think at college you can finally, hopefully find your own voice and say, this is not how I want to go about my life. Now, football is a physical game. I hear it quite often. It's not ballet, right? It's kind of like hockey. Probably the two most physical sports, regardless of what you see LeBron James doing on the NBA court. But there is the inherent risk and there's the risk that is assumed. And I always go back to this quote from James Harrison in a 2011 interview that he gave to Men's Journal, Confessions of an NFL Hitman. And it was, I want to say it was maybe May, something like that of 2011, maybe 2012. But he says, quote, "If a guy has a choice of hitting me high or low, hit me in the head and I'll pay your fine. Just don't hit me in the knee because that's life-threatening. How am I going to feed my family if I can't run?"
Oh my gosh.
So, now James Harrison is I say this respectfully because I'm a huge Harrison fan. I follow him on social media. His gym routine, his workouts are insane. I loved what he did for the Steelers in his career there. I'm a big James Harrison fan. And, his mentality now 15 years ago, I wonder if it would change now, but is, you know what, if they take out my knees, I'm done, but if they hit me in the head, I can play next week. I can get that paycheck, things like that. And that's all kind of after. I would say that maybe there was some overlap, but I'd say most of Harrison's career came after I'm on green. But I just think that these guys step into the game knowing that it's a violent game. And I do like you said, I love the fact that, some safety measures have been taken, but we still see, sadly, too often, I say this, I'm not trying to like blame anybody, but guys who get a little sloppy on their tackling form or leading with the head. And, then sometimes it's the defender who's, in that spear tackling, who takes the brunt of the hit, and he's the one carted off the field. So it's a fast game. It's faster now, I'd say, than it was in Green's playing days, especially in college. I just think that they all know the risk and they accept the risk every time they put the pads on.
I'm sorry, Greg. I don't agree with that at all. I don't think they are aware of the reality of the risk. If you told me that a football team carted in injured players that are, 20 years past their prime, that have sustained injuries like something like this, and any kind of like, especially dealing with their brains, any kind of injury like that, and the players are able to see it with their own eyes, I think that would be, then I would agree that they are aware of the risks. I don't think that, I mean, maybe it is. Maybe they really are aware of the risks. I don't think so.
I think so. There are cautionary tales out there. There's Junior Seau, there's Aaron Hernandez, there's Demarius Thomas, and those are just, those are past NFL players who have been found upon post-mortem to be found with CTE, right? And I would say that the cautionary tales are there. You hit yourself, you get hit in the head repeatedly enough times that it will cause damage. But I do think that for a lot of players, sports is going to be their only way to better their situation. So there's the allure of money that has been unheard of in their family for the entirety. There's people want to follow the spotlight. That's why now with the advent of social media, we have all of these. It's all about hey, whether it's the Husker Nation or like, hey, make sure you follow me or follow this guy and let's shine. There's such an emphasis on the player now. And again, like you said, and a couple others in the chat, I'm glad that the football is taking measures to make the game safer. Even though sometimes I just like, I wish, or 15 years ago that wouldn't be a penalty or something like that in a key moment. Like, I'm all for player safety, but I do think that at a certain point, and this sucks for Amon Green, it sucked for Junior Seau and the rest. There has to be some amount of personal accountability because they chose to play football.
Okay, here's the problem with that. We're talking about young men. And we know studies have shown that your frontal lobe is not fully developed as a male until you're 24 or 25 years old. By that time, they're already out of college. And the frontal lobe is responsible for those judgments, weighing the risks. Yeah, I don't agree with that either, David Matney. But that's another thing. To me, that's more like political.
Say it.
I'm not going to say it.
Say
I don't
it.
agree with that. I don't agree with that.
But you just have to say, David, you have to read David Matney's comment.
No, actually, I do not have to.
Well,
Brett, what do you think? I've been doing a lot of talking.
There has to be responsibility on the player part. And here's the thing with the people don't know or they don't know. Ever since that concussion stuff came out with that Jets doctor, whatever year that was, that like early 2000s, I believe, the CTE stuff, they had the big documentary and all that.
The movie Concussion starring Will Smith.
Well, that too, but then there was like a PBS special with that actual doctor talking about how they tried to silence him. He was a team doctor for the Jets, and they were telling him to hide information on guys and play guys that they shouldn't play and all that kind of stuff because they had issues. To say that current day guys don't know the risks, I mean, that they have to know by this point. But this is a thing that neither of you mentioned, and I remember this specifically when the concussion stuff came out, the CTE stuff came out in the NFL, and they were talking about it and player safety and players down the road and how they were going to take care of themselves if they had issues. And Boomer Esiason on the CBS show talked about how in 1987, I believe it was, they went on strike. The NFL had a strike and they wanted more money and whatever the strike was about. But on the table in that strike, the NFL was talking about medical insurance to take care of any injury stuff, whatever, knees, head, whatever the hell's going on, right? Neck. And Boomer said, and he was part of the strike, he was part of the union. He said, we told him at that time is like, we don't want that because we'll just take our money and save it and take care of ourselves. We're not worried about that. That was back in 1987. So there's a certain level of, braggadocio, machismo, whatever the fuck you want to call it, that, and I mean, I was a young athlete once too. And I tell you what, after my first varsity wrestling practice, I didn't walk out of that thing thinking, man, this is going to add years onto my fucking life. I couldn't get upstairs. I wrestled a heavyweight that had a 150-pound advantage on me, and he headbutted me, and my world looked like I was looking through a yellow screen.
Wait, you're not allowed to headbutt in wrestling.
Oh, well, tell that to that guy and tell it to my opponents because I did it to them. I didn't give a shit. There's a lot of headbutts in wrestling. And, so at some point, there's got to be accountability. I don't want to be like, I don't feel any culpability, but we were all young. We were all invincible. Nothing's ever going to happen to you, until it does. And so I mean, to me, there were the guys that did roids back in the day and all the shit that they did. And there was stuff that said, don't do roids. And they did roids until their hearts exploded. It's just, and it's the thing. And it's also Parkinson's hits regular people that don't have 100-mile collisions, 30 times a day on a Saturday. I mean, granted, I'm sure it is a factor and it has to be, but at the same point, I just go back to that Boomer Esiason thing. And the funny thing about that, and I'll just quit talking about it, he said that on the heels of the concussion stuff, right, on CBS. The next week, he wasn't on. They just quietly set him out for a week because they just didn't want to deal with the reality of the fact that he said we weren't concerned about our medical health and any kind of medical stuff that the union or the league could give us because we just wanted money because we could take care of ourselves.
It's like this. I wanted a tattoo when I was a teenager. I am glad I did not get the tattoo I wanted. Oh my gosh. I can't imagine living with that for the rest of my life. Yeah.
What was the tattoo you wanted, Minnie?
It's dumb. It's dumb. And what's
was it
more
a neck tattoo?
No. What's more is it wouldn't have been very good. So I would have to live with that my whole life. No, thank you.
What was it?
I wanted a rose.
Where? On your ankle?
No.
On your wrist?
No, I would have to hide it.
Just
Shoulder
getting
blade.
uncomfortable.
I know. I would have to hide it. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
I would have had to.
Gotcha.
I don't have any tattoos. But
Um,
I'm saying
me
like
neither.
this is yeah, don't you feel like you would regret it if you did?
Hey, you know what? You don't put a bumper sticker on a Lamborghini. So
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying.
Exactly.
hey, wait a minute. I've got 2 tattoos and thinking about more. So,
You got the green.
but that's
one.
okay because I'm a jalopy.
I don't want to see the other tattoo if it's where it shouldn't be seen by humans. We saw the Green Lantern earlier, so
It's on the up and up. It's okay.
It's a
Okay,
tramp
all right.
stamp.
It's not in my bathing suit area.
tramp stamp that says property of John Johnston. 5 hearts right over cross.
5 hearts. That's what it's actually.
How
5 hearts.
sad is
right across.
that? When I've seen tramp stamps that have somebody's name on them. You better freaking
Wait, what?
You seen these in
Haven't
the
you?
real world or pictures on the internet, Minnie?
No,
Real
in
world.
real world in Florida. When I was at a bar
Wow,
in Florida, the waitress.
She had
Had
her
a-
own name on her.
No, she had some dude's name on her. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I bet they didn't
Talk
make
about
Property of
they
Scott
didn't.
Frost.
it.
Frost warning. That's what it said.
Frost warning. Gosh.
It's like, talk about regretting a decision. Dang.
I almost got one when I was on spring break, and alcohol was involved, and luckily my friend Schuster said, "Fred, look at this place. It's just not, it's dirty." And then we got out of there because I was either going to get a yin yang on my arm or the Italian flag. So I got nothing.
I think the Italian flag would look great on your arm.
That'd be okay. Problem is with me, I'm hairy though, so then the hair grows through it, and it's just like it's a whole thing, and yeah. Ain't worth it.
I didn't start this comment, but somebody did. One of you 2 rascals started
me.
Tony's comment from a couple minutes ago asking if 5 Heart is going woke. It's a sad day.
Did I say something?
Well, there was a lot of football player apologists on your end, and like you feel bad for them. And I said, well, no, they made that choice, and so I wonder if that it was stemmed from that.
Well,
I
I
think
sure
it
shit
may.
ain't going woke, so fuck that. Ain't me.
That ain't me.
What would
I'm not the
woke-
fox in the hen house. Or maybe I am the fox in the hen house if I'm not woke. I don't know. Either
Okay.
way, yeah.
All right. Maybe we should
Sometimes
change
I'll
the
curse
subject.
a little less.
I
or,
didn't start that one, so I don't know.
I didn't either.
Oh, okay.
Who did? Is there a mystery person? Okay.
Tony
It's-
wants to know, Minnesota Tony, by the way,
Uh-huh.
is Rule on the hot seat?
Okay. Tony, I'm glad that you asked that because here's a little research I did just yesterday. Okay. Your coach, PJ Fleck, his all-time
Is it
record
cool?
at Minnesota is 66-44. 66 wins and 44 losses.
That's
Not
how records
bad.
work.
That's 111 games. I mean, 110.
Hey.
Wow.
So I wanted to kind of compare this with, obviously, I'm going to compare it to Matt Rule and other Big Ten coaches. Lincoln Riley at USC, guess what his record is?
25-17.
Close. 35-18.
That's not that close.
Well, you said 5 and 17, so
There, okay.
okay. So keep that in mind. PJ Fleck. I already mentioned him.
Yep.
Oh gosh. Okay. So here's what got me thinking about this, really. Was Matt Rule saying that, he doesn't want to be 7-6. And then I remember last year how bad I felt for PJ Fleck at first. And then I kind of realized that he was a real jerk. His record at Wisconsin is 17-21, which they sucked ass last year, right? they got their record was 4-8. I don't even know how he's still there.
Oh, Fickle?
Yes, Luke
Oh,
Fickle at
yeah.
Wisconsin.
Oh my God! Did
So
you see
then,
his? Not to interrupt, but his Big Ten opening statement. Oh my God, he looked like a comedian who was dying. He was sweating, and then he was like nervous, and he's like, "It's good to be here. How are we doing all?" And then he went and talked about how great iCourse was and how he couldn't wait to foster that relationship. That guy is so
yeah.
fucked. Oh my God, it was great.
So then, okay, keep that in mind. 17-21, Luke Fickle at Wisconsin. Terrible coaching.
The fates are fickle.
Nebraska's Matt Rule is 19-19.
Same as Mike Riley.
But for some reason, it doesn't feel that bad.
As bad as Mike Riley?
As bad as like a Luke Fickle or
Well,
a Greg Schiano.
statistically, it's better than Luke Fickle because you said they're 17-21.
It's
Yes,
500.
yes.
So that's how numbers work.
Yeah. Let me tell you, Greg Schiano's 99 and 108.
But he's been in a is that including both tours of duty there? I'm guessing.
Yeah, it is. It
Okay.
is.
Even then, that's a tough draw to do well there. His first run was good, but then getting put back into the Big Ten, not
his first stint was
not optimal.
68 and 67.
Yeah, I mean, even then, that's
and then
good.
his second was 31-41.
The thing about Rutgers is like they were there at the beginning of college football, the first game, and then they
like to
how
remind
do
us.
college football after that.
Yeah, and they all downhill from there.
Yeah.
Ooh, what's Fred drinking tonight?
Oh, it was a bevy of things. I had a dear old Nebraska brew from the now defunct Zipline Brewing Company. They shut down a while back out of Lincoln. And I had both the nil beers actually, and then the Husker Crusher from Cross Drain, which is going strong. They just opened a new location. And now I have the Down Low Honeydew Cider. And Down Low Honeydew sounds like it'd be a game they play at Camp Kenosha, but that's for another show. And before that, in my chalice, I had cranberry juice and a little bit of vodka. So that was my Kool-Aid.
And before that?
Before that, I had a couple flights of beer. I told you I hit the training table before we got to the show. Maureen had to go buy a gift for a friend who's leaving the workplace, getting a new job. And I said, well, I'm not going along unless I hit the training table on the way home. So we got a couple of quick flights. Well, I did anyway. Maureen had a nice martini.
Pinky's out for Mo.
Anyways, back to the record thing. So hot seat.
Oh, yeah. But he's not on a hot seat. That's the thing. Matt Rule is not on a hot seat because we just signed him to another 5-year agreement extension last season.
Yes, we did.
You know what? I've said this before. I repeat myself a lot because it's off season and not a lot to talk about, but I don't think he's on the hot seat this season. It's a tougher season. Statistically, or by the win percentage, perhaps we should win 8 games. We can't account for the fact that we could still have that inexplicable, just fuck up, shit the bed game, that type of thing. He's fine this year. Next year's schedule is easier by a little bit.
Haven't looked at it yet.
Yeah, I did. And if we limp to another 7 wins, then I think the seat's hot. And I think also it factors in what is going on in college football, who's available. Like if there's some hot shit hire after next season, then perhaps he's on the hot seat. But if not, he'll still be here, and maybe he gets the Hoiberg thing. Maybe we get the 7 years to put shit together. It just depends on how people get restless, the people with the money, not us, because like I was saying, Troy Dannon's not watching this show right now and saying, you know what? Upon further reflection, I'm not going to put a patch on the uniform because Five Hearts said they don't like it. They don't give a shit what we think about. And, so I think he's safe for a while. I don't think he's on the hot seat. There'll be articles and talking about it, but no, realistically, there's no way he's on the hot seat.
I think they've got to be under 500 for the next 2 years.
Yes.
I think he's got 2 years.
Type of shit.
Still.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
All right. Good question. Mr. Matney says, serious question. If you had a choice, would you rather have Anthony Calandri or Dylan Raiola as quarterback? I mean, it's a serious question, but I think we all know the answer. Minnie, let's start with you.
Well, here's the deal. There was this
should be a very simple answer, like 1 word, 2 word at the most answer.
Okay, right, there was this student
a whole soliloquy, Greg,
from Illinois who has been asking all kinds of questions. He's representing the Big Ten. He does some sort of broadcasting thing there in Illinois. And he asked Matt Rule, was it a shock that Dylan Raiola entered the portal? And of course, Matt Rule didn't answer it. We were not shocked. From the moment that he broke his leg at the USC game, we knew he was going to be gone.
Yeah, when that Bisquick leaked out on the field, it was an ugly sight. I'll never forget where I was. I was starting to tear up a little bit. Yeah, I don't think at that point, I did not think he was gone. But then when the talk came shortly after about how they had shopped him to Miami and A&M, I think it just felt like, yeah, he was going to go.
Anthony Calandri is my answer.
Me too. Without a doubt. Because of the offense that we run, it needs a guy somewhat mobile.
Michael has said a team needs to quit falling apart at the end of the season. A quarterback that's not a statue should help the offensive line a lot.
Hey, freaking men.
Matt Rule talked about that again today.
Dylan only attended 4 different high schools.
Yeah. That same reporter, he asked Dan Lanning, what do you think about having Dylan Raiola on your team since he's been quite the journeyman as a player? He's been to 4 different high schools and, all that stuff.
What did Lanning say?
I was going to say,
he goes, I'm not worried about it.
Because he knows he's a glorified backup. And
because he doesn't have Uncle Donnie there either. So,
yeah.
So let's see. Oh, Pitt says, oh my God. They wanted Dr. Tom fired. 6 a.m. with all the farmers at Eastgate Cafe after a loss. Literal pitchforks came out. So,
oh my gosh.
I don't doubt it. It was rough back in the day.
Hey, Rostowski, don't try to bring any logic into this conversation. This is neither the time nor the place for you to make nicety-nices saying, well, we had a true freshman quarterback going against legit old-timer defensive coordinators. Now's not the time. This is not the place. We're here. We're going to shit all over Dylan. We're going to continue to shit all over Dylan.
I don't shit on anyone other than you, Greg.
That's true. This is fair. It's true.
My heart's sad.
But Dylan, he deserves it. He's earned it. Don't care.
He broke his leg for us. I don't even know what more you people want.
He didn't break his leg.
Don't answer that.
Because he held onto the ball too long.
He didn't break his leg in some kind of an epic John Elway scramble at the end of the game over the goal line and gets hit and helicoptered. No, he got stuck because he called the wrong freaking play. Oh, wow. About what? About Dylan?
I don't know. I'm right about something. Thank God.
Okay. Well, Matney says it. I'm not going to argue with Matney. Okay. Minnie's right. But for Dylan, I mean, I don't know. He he got hurt. It sucks for him. I didn't want the guy to get hurt, but it just wasn't a good fit. And he's playing again behind his uncle's inept offensive line. So what are you going to do? Like, where does the daisy chain? I'm doing the John Johnston. Where does the daisy chain of blame end? At some point, somebody has to be accountable for something. And it's just like, it just wasn't working. And we kind of lost a year or two of progress because of that group. And now I hope we're on the road to recovery with a staff that actually works.
Rostowski is clarifying. He says it was by TJ Lateef, who was a true freshman, not Dylan. So, all right. Okay. I'm thankful. Oh, and that you're right about shitting on me again.
So, well, there you go. Minnie's right.
That's not something I want to be right about. Jeez.
No, she is placed above him in the order. So
she didn't want to be down here because she didn't want the comments blocking her face. So
yeah, I gotta adjust for when I'm down there.
We have to figure that out.
No, it'll be all right if you adjust your camera. It's fine. But people said Hassman saying Jeep adjust the O-line. That'll save us. Running backs I'm not worried about because again the O-line does its job. I feel okay about what we have. Some people say that's Kool-Aid. I don't care. Normally I'm negative. I'm still negative. I don't believe in a lot of the things that are going to happen. Rule says the same dumb shit. His comment about when they asked him about the playing 9 conference games, that just bored me to tears because he's like, well, there's all great conferences. Every conference is great in college football. And then I sent you guys the text of what Signetti said. And he's like, no, the Big Ten rules because we've done this. We don't make excuses. We don't cry and whine. We play and we lose and this is that, So it's like, that's the difference in leadership that I see.
What are
Rules
you
still
talking
tries to be
about?
everybody's friend. He tries to be everybody's friend. And you can't.
No. Here's what he said. Fred. He said, I'll let Tony Petiti answer that. Because if other teams aren't going to play difficult non-conference games, then why should I?
And that's true. And that's fine.
It is true.
He said that's what he said, but that's still different. See, that's letting somebody else make the decision.
Because
we don't talk about it versus Signetti's just saying, fuck it. Damn the torpedoes. We're the best conference. We don't care. Like, I enjoy that. And I enjoy that because he backs it up. Now, if he didn't back it up, I'd be like, this guy's a moron. Like quit talking, like anybody would say that,
Then seriously, could Matt Rule say that? No, you wouldn't be happy with that either.
Well, he couldn't say it because he hasn't done anything.
Right.
That's the difference. But it's like, but he just kind of acquiesces, but he could still be at least somewhat. The Big Ten is the standard bearer, just something general like that.
Oh,
we're in the greatest conference in the nation, something like that, and just leave it at that. That's all he had to do.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, that goes
conference is good.
Again, that goes to the history of the SEC being, all pulling together because it's the Confederacy, right? Whereas the rest of the world, like, that's why we don't chant "Go Big Ten," during the college football playoffs. We're not over there championing other teams. We're like, fuck Iowa, fuck Ohio State, fuck Michigan, whomever.
We do have that.
Here's the thing. In the Big Ten, we have an abundance of hatred that the SEC thinks that they have, but at the end of the day, they'll still root for an SEC team. Maybe I say we. I should only speak for myself. I don't want any other Big Ten school to ever win anything except Nebraska. That's just me.
You guys are going to hate me.
I know.
I don't really care anymore.
Do it, Minnie. Go.
If we had Iowa's coach at Nebraska, we would be champions again.
I'll go first because Greg's I don't know, contemplating his life choices, I think.
He's a great coach.
And this is where I'll tread the line, because I've been in this weird spot, because John used to talk about on the old shows, like, we never want to be Iowa because they suck, they're dull, and they're boring, and blah blah blah. And I get that. They are. I would never want to be Iowa. But there's a certain part of me too that all we have to do is just play basic football. And that's what Iowa does. That's what Wisconsin did until, they fired that. I can't remember the guy there was the guy from Oregon State, and he sucked, Anderson. Then they got Fickle. But the guy before him, he was an offensive lineman for Wisconsin. Can't think of his name. But they beat us by playing our old game. Wisconsin did. Iowa basically does the same thing with a lot less flash. Like, they have 3 running plays and they throw to the tight end, but they play solid defense and special teams. So I wouldn't love if Ferentz was our coach, but I would love if we just played basic football that won, and using our resources that we have that are better than Iowa. In theory, we would be better than what we are, but we've tried to reinvent the wheel multiple times. And then there's been agendas in the athletic department that have fucked things up, and coaches with egos like Callahan and Bo and Frost. So I wouldn't love Ferentz as our coach, but I would love the concept of just basic fucking football, blocking and tackling, not dicking around.
To add to that, I'll let you talk, Greg, in just a second. You know how I gave you all the records of other coaches in the Big Ten? I have Kirk Ferentz's record right here.
But that's not fair, because he's been the head coach at Iowa since Methuselah was on the earth.
But what does matter?
His first year, I think.
What does matter is somebody's winning percentage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the reason we look at quarterbacks. What's their completion percentage? His winning percentage is 62.5%. It's a whole hell of a lot better than 50%.
By 12.5.
12%.
It's hard to get there.
Well, I think
but there's a lot more. It's a much grander sample size.
His first year, I think he was 1-10. I can't remember what his second year was, because I literally it popped up on my YouTube feed. The game where they played us in Lincoln, I think it was in 2000. 1999 was the year that Frost ran over, or Frost, gosh, the other number.
He's been their head coach since 1998, Fred.
Yes.
Almost 30 years.
99, Crouch ran over that defensive back for a touchdown. 2000, they came to Lincoln, and we beat him, I think, 42-32, and Crouch threw, I think, 5 touchdowns. It was a weird game. So back then it was like he was still finding his footing, but then eventually but back then also you had the time to entrench and get your coaches and your guys and your staff and build. And that's what he did. So, but the thing is, you couldn't grab Ferentz now and bring him here, and we're just going to fucking kick ass. Like, it would still be a build, I think. I don't know if it would switch overnight, but his era when he started and built, of course, he's much better, and I wish we had that consistency. That's what we used to always have. I hate the Iowa fans more often than not, just because the fact that all it ever is I'll be like, God, this sucks. And they were like, yep, we beat you again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we used to do to everybody else.
Yeah,
when we were
that's
good.
why I say this.
That's
why I say this. That is a perfect example of the reason why I said what I said. If
Husker Chuck
if
says,
we had, go ahead. Go ahead.
If we match Iowa in fundamentals and development, our talent edge will crush them. Yes. There's nothing flashy. There's nothing special about Iowa football. It's just,
they're special, all right.
You know what I mean. And again, I can't believe I'm saying something nice about the Iowa Hawkeyes, but they just don't make many mistakes. They are pretty fundamentally sound. and they will wear you down and beat you in the latter half of the fourth quarter, which we have seen when we're losing to them on walk-off fucking field goals.
But here's the deal. They have a very tough schedule this year. I feel really good about playing them in November.
Hope
I
so.
think they'll be beaten up.
I think so. I think they will
Allegedly,
be.
they got a good quarterback for once. I've heard. My boss is an Iowa fan.
They don't even
It's
know who their
difficult.
quarterback is, for sure.
I don't either, but supposedly he's actually good versus what they've had. I don't know. So maybe he'll throw it, 20 times a game instead of like 18,
Mhm.
and hit 7 of them and most of the tight end and a couple of swing passes, and they still beat. It's like it's just tough. It sucks because Iowa's like Novocaine. They just like slowly take effect. You go to sleep and then it's over. It's like that's
I'll be
Iowa
right back.
football.
Sorry.
We'll be right here.
I gotta let my dog out.
Like Novocaine, just give it time. It always works or something like that.
Slow drip.
I actually go and remember the Titans.
Oh, okay.
Our problem started when we fired Solich.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. We could relitigate that forever and a day, and I feel the same. I have friends that'll call me randomly and be like, "Well, if we just didn't," it's like, yeah, but that was 30 plus years ago at this point. We ain't going back. It's a bummer. Yeah, and I think Andy talked about on his show is like he said, "Oh, Frank wasn't going to do anything," and the season that they had with the new staff, the 9-3 is a fake 9-3. Yeah, get into all that. They needed more of a chance, like
You know
more
what?
time to build, do something.
You know what sounds worse than a fake 9-3?
The best 3-9 team in college history.
Or back-to-back 7-6s, and yeah. So
yeah, I don't know. I struggle with it. I get what Minnie's saying about that style of football. That's all we would have to do. But again, we have too many cooks in the kitchen with the administration sometimes, I think, and we take these wild swings. And I think Rule was like the safe middle of the road choice of what was available at that time. I mean, I feel like we're talking about getting cars at a car lot, and Rule's the Accord, kind of a thing. And that's just, what it is. But I would love the success Iowa has, or with our resources, pump it up a bit. Definitely.
Yeah. And again, development, right? I think we've seen especially when you look at the 2027 class that's anticipated, they can spot talent and they can even get talent to Lincoln. I guess we'll know more a year from now, right? But yeah, they can't just plateau. They have to develop these young men and get them ready. So,
well, it depends on the guy too. I mean, you think about Frost run, Divina Zigbo. He actually transformed. He looked like an Oregon running back when he was here, like, from when Frost took over. Some guys will just take to the coaching, it just the way it works or what they want to do as well. But we need to have more consistency. And that's what he did when he was at Baylor, right? Like they talked about all the people he brought in at Baylor and they built them up, and these guys went to the league and we're going to have a dog here and cheering. Oh,
it's not going to work.
I just can't. Oh man, that's a bridge too far. Minnie looks like Dylan trying to carry the ball actually with that dog. But
my dog wants to be right next to me so bad, but he weighs 50 pounds and I can't hardly lift him.
Oh yeah, that's too much. Yeah.
I can't remember if there's anything else. I don't think I have anything else tonight. Do either of you have anything else to discuss?
No, I'm good. I think we had a
Minnie?
broad discussion.
I feel like there's been a lot, but I can't think.
Matt says, hit the weight room, Minnie, if you can't pick up your 50-pound dog.
I know. I need to. He's dead weight.
And this is a sad
Your
statistic,
dog
but
just said F off. He just barked at you when you said he's dead weight. That's great. No, I'm not.
he's allowed to talk back to you more than I am.
He
Man.
does. He does. He
Sit,
gets
Greg,
scared.
sit.
He doesn't have very good eyesight, so he gets scared.
Sit, Greg. Sit.
Arf. Sit, boo boo.
Good dog.
This is a comment from Husker Chuck that I don't like the comment. I do think it's out of place in the end of July. I think it's better stated in the first week of December. He says, we have now extended the longest drought in school history between conference championships. We can say that one in the end of November, first week of December, but July just seems like you're rubbing salt in the wound. So,
Ouch. Yeah. That hurts. Thanks, Husker Chuck. Ruined my fucking night.
yeah, Husker Chuck, geez.
Boo.
So,
Buzzkill. Buzz Killington.
all right. I think that's it. You can tell it's getting closer to the season because this show just went almost 2 hours. Wasn't that long ago. Yeah. Fred, you and I were just, knocking on the door of an hour-long show, and now here we are getting to 2 hours, and we're not to the season yet. So just wait, because a month and change from now, it'll be 11:30 before we finally sign off. But for now, that'll do it. That is a load of a dog.
And he's trying to suplex her dog. Oh my God. Wow. That's almost big as an Iowa cheerleader. Holy shit.
What's this dog's name, Minnie?
Is my mic still muted?
No, we can hear you.
We
now.
can hear you.
Okay. His name is Trouble.
Is he a bulldog of some sort?
Yes, he's an English bulldog.
Oh my God. We had one of those when I was a kid, and he used to run full speed and like headbutt me in the abdomen and knock me down and then just stand on my body. Yeah, it was a real thing when I was 4. That thing was a monster. His name was Sarge.
Yeah, this dog's pretty cool. I love him.
Trouble's he's a big hit in the chat, and he's about to eat your microphone. So
Orden's gonna snuggle the dog, react attack. My God, that dog it just looks like it got bigger in the last 2 minutes. It's like growing before our eyes. My God.
OMG, Worships Water says that dog is awesome.
That weighs Minnie.
Husker Chuck says fat shaming the dog may be in order.
Aw, overweight.
Big Trouble. 50
All he
pounds,
wants
I'll take
to
the
do
over.
Is sit on my lap. He thinks he's a lap dog.
Wade wants to know Kirk or Dylan as far as the dog's name.
That's funny. Well, he's not barking anymore. He's with
put
us.
a 15 on him. Greg and I have a soothing effect on animals. That's our,
right.
our thing.
They hear our soothing voice. Vince Watson said, when is Beth coming on for volleyball prep? And it got mentioned in the chat, but I will say it here. Beth has decided to move on, or sometime in the offseason, move on from coordination. So unfortunately, we won't have Beth to come on and share her knowledge with us, which is crappy.
Yeah, she's great. Maybe Minnie can teach Trouble about volleyball between now and then, and Minnie and Trouble can do a volleyball show.
We could do it together.
Yeah. So we wish her the best in her future endeavors. Certainly, she will be missed. She's the best volleyball rider that's out there. So, John wouldn't pay for her whiteboard upgrade. That's all it was. What did Minnie do to piss her off? Nothing.
Nothing. I love Beth.
Fight.
And then React Attack says that tongue dough.
Yeah, it's long.
I've never seen. That's the thing that struck me too, because usually dogs like that size have. It's like Gene Simmons over there, and then the sound. The
Trouble.
sound
We can hear you licking your paw.
He sleeps with his
Crimson.
tongue hanging his tongue hangs out when he sleeps, and it's between his teeth. He's like the
That
whole
is just
time.
usually dogs of that stature have a short tongue. Not that I'm, and then the slapping sound. I'm going to hear that in my nightmares. I don't know.
I
Like
don't
That
know.
dog, I
Like
can't
that.
handle it.
Wow.
Wade to ask. No, we didn't have any nil money to give to Beth. We're sorry.
I know.
I'm glad our dogs are small. Both of our dogs combined don't even weigh that much. They're like 40 pounds apiece. Crimson, good to see you. He's a friend of mine from when I was betting
Oh,
on Mario
nice.
Kart when I was a drunk degenerate in 2020. So, yeah.
And Rostowski says that dog deserves more than 14 likes,
Oh my
which means,
gosh.
yes, like
At least
this video
50.
on YouTube. If you haven't already, subscribe to the Coronation YouTube channel. And for the love of all things holy, make sure you ring that bell so you never miss a new episode of Coronation or a Five Heart Podcast or Monday Night Therapy when that resumes or whatever John has on a random Thursday morning. So, and then, so you said you're going to hear that that tongue sound in your nightmares. And James Boardman asked, nightmare or wet dream?
A little
Ew.
bit of both, but not enough of either, James. So there you go.
Did you growl at them?
Sleep with that. Think about that as you go to bed.
All right. And on that note, I think it's time for us to send you off
Mercifully.
with dark and twisted thoughts. But thank you truly. As I've said before, this is the best Husker community, and appreciate you inviting us all into your homes and just your time that you spend with us here on this Thursday evening. So for Fred, make sure I'm pointing in the right direction here, and then for Minnie and Trouble, I'm Greg Mahochko. This is the Five Heart Podcast. We remind you each and every week that Five Heart is all the heart you need. Fred?
Go Big Red. Making it simple tonight. Fuck it. America.
Minnie and Trouble.
And go Big Red.
The tongue.
He's like, he's like, get me the hell out of here.
He's like, I can't take it anymore. These guys suck.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's trying to crawl away from us actively.
Embarrassment. Third-hand embarrassment. That poor dog.
Poor
We love you, Trouble.
Now he's like, no, don't do that. It's the worst. All right, now we're doing play-by-play for the dog being spun around in the chair. It's time to go.
This is where we're at, people. Good night.